It's almost ironic, isn't it? You fight hard to lose belly fat, celebrate the results, and then, almost silently, it starts creeping back. Many people think it's because they lost discipline, but the truth is far more intriguing and far more scientific. Imagine your body as a highly sophisticated security system. When you lose weight quickly or drastically, this system activates alarms you don't even feel. And those alarms have only one mission: bring the fat back. What makes this mystery even more fascinating is that your body doesn't differentiate between a diet and a period of famine. To your biology, both look exactly the same. So while you're proud of your progress, your internal systems are whispering, "We must protect ourselves." This mismatch between your goals and your body's instincts creates a sort of invisible battle happening under your skin. But here's the twist. The belly fat rebound doesn't happen randomly. There's a sequence, almost like a coded pattern, that repeats itself in most people. And once you understand that pattern, everything suddenly makes sense. It's as if someone finally turned the light on in a room you've been stumbling through for years. In a moment, you'll see the deeper mechanisms behind this rebound. But before that, think about this. What if the real reason belly fat comes back has nothing to do with calories and everything to do with biology's ancient survival programming? You'll understand the full truth as we move through this video. Most people think weight loss ends when the diet ends, but that's actually when the most important phase begins. After a diet, your body enters what scientists call an adaptive phase. It's silent, invisible, and shockingly persistent. During this phase, your body tries to restore the status quo, even if that status quo was unhealthy. Your metabolism slows, your hunger hormones increase, and your fat-storing mechanisms become more efficient. And here's the part nobody warns you about. This cycle doesn't happen overnight. It unfolds slowly, like a tide rising so subtly you don't notice until the waves reach your feet. You might think you're eating normally again, but your body is no longer functioning the way it did before the diet. Every meal is processed differently. Every calorie is interpreted differently. It's not your imagination. Something really has changed. The illusion of control makes this cycle even more dangerous. You may believe you're doing great, staying balanced, eating decently, but beneath that surface, your biology is recalibrating itself to recover lost fat. This creates a window of vulnerability in which even small changes can result in disproportionate regain. That's why so many people feel blindsided. And here's the crazy part. You can interrupt this cycle, but only if you understand it. And trust me, the next subtitles will show you exactly how deep this rabbit hole goes. Keep watching, because in the middle of this video, I'll reveal something that almost no one knows about this rebound process.
When you lose belly fat, your body interprets it as a threat, not emotionally, biologically. It switches into what scientists describe as energy defense mode. In this state, your body's priority isn't to help you keep losing fat. Its priority is survival. And the most efficient survival strategy? Store energy, preserve fat, reduce fuel expenditure. Even if you want fat gone, your body wants the opposite. You'll notice this defense mode through subtle signals: a sudden increase in cravings, a drop in energy, slower digestion, deeper fatigue. These sensations aren't random, they're tactical responses. Your body is trying to push you toward eating more, especially calorie-dense foods. The interesting part is that you don't consciously choose these cravings. They arise because your brain is responding to physiological alarms. What's even more shocking is that this defense mode affects not just your appetite, but your metabolism itself. Your body starts burning fewer calories at rest. It becomes incredibly efficient, like a car that suddenly gets twice the mileage. Sounds good, right? Except it's the opposite of what you want after losing belly fat. This is why two people can eat the same amount of food after dieting and only one of them regains fat. Their bodies aren't burning calories the same way. But here's the twist I'll reveal later. This defense mode has a specific trigger point, almost like a switch, and once you know what activates that switch, you can learn to avoid it entirely. Don't miss what's coming next. Most people think metabolism is just about fast or slow, but it's far more complex than that, especially after weight loss. When you lose belly fat, your metabolism doesn't merely decline, it adapts. This phenomenon is known in science as metabolic adaptation, and it means your body burns fewer calories than someone of the same size who never dieted. That alone explains why regaining weight is so common. But this metabolic shift is not temporary. Studies show it can last for months, even years. Imagine finishing a diet and thinking everything is normal again, while your metabolism is secretly running on low power mode. Every bite you eat is stored more efficiently. Every snack is processed differently. This creates an environment where fat gain becomes easier than fat loss, a biological imbalance that very few people know exists. And here's the shocking part. Your metabolism doesn't just slow down, it also becomes predictive. It tries to anticipate future calorie shortages by storing more fat whenever possible. That means your body begins operating like someone preparing for difficult times, even though you're eating normally again. This predictive mode makes the belly area especially vulnerable, because abdominal fat is the body's fastest access energy reserve. But there is a path to reversing this metabolic slowdown, and we'll get there soon. Before that, let's uncover the hormonal forces that silently shape your appetite and fat storage. And trust me, this is where the science gets even more surprising. If metabolism is the engine, hormones are the software running it. And after dieting, several key hormones change dramatically. Leptin, the hormone that tells your brain you're full, drops sharply. Ghrelin, the hormone that tells your brain you're hungry, rises. This combination is like having a broken fuel gauge in a car. You think you're empty when you're not. And this is one of the biggest drivers behind belly fat returning. But the story gets even more interesting. Cortisol, often called the stress hormone, also increases during and after restrictive diets. And cortisol has a strong preference for storing fat specifically in the abdominal region. That means the more stress your body feels, whether from dieting, lack of sleep, or emotional tension, the easier it becomes to regain belly fat, even if you're not overeating.
Insulin also becomes more sensitive during the rebound phase. Your muscles become less efficient at absorbing glucose, which makes your body more likely to store excess energy as fat. This hormonal cocktail creates the perfect storm for rapid fat regain, and it explains why some people gain fat even while eating less than before. But here's the good news. Once you understand how these hormones behave, you can control them. And in the next sections, you'll learn strategies backed by science that can shift this hormonal tide in your favor. But before that, I want you to comment something important. What part surprised you the most so far? Metabolism, hormones, or cravings? Your opinion helps shape the next videos. Deep inside your brain, there's a biological setting known as the weight set point. Think of it as the thermostat that decides the range your body believes is safe. When you diet and drop below this range, your brain doesn't celebrate the achievement. It panics. It activates mechanisms to push you back to that familiar weight, even if that weight includes stubborn belly fat you want to lose. This set point isn't just a number. It's a collection of neural patterns shaped by years of habits, food choices, stress responses, and metabolic history. Your brain constantly monitors signals from hormones, fat cells, and the digestive system. When those signals suggest you're dipping below your established weight, the brain responds by intensifying hunger and reducing energy expenditure. It's a survival reflex, not a personal failure. One of the most fascinating aspects of this invisible programming is that it doesn't update quickly. Your brain prefers stability over change, even positive change. That's why maintaining weight loss is often harder than losing it. Your biology is wired to bring you back to what it considers normal, regardless of your goals. Understanding this mechanism reveals why belly fat in particular is so persistent. It's part of that internal safety system. But here's the exciting part. Set points can be changed. It's not easy, but it's possible.
through consistent habits that slowly retrain your brain to accept a new normal. And in the next subtitles, you'll discover which dieting approaches make this process harder and which ones help you break free from the cycle entirely. Not all diets are created equal, and surprisingly, some practically guarantee that belly fat will return. Extremely restrictive diets, especially those that cut calories too aggressively, send the strongest danger signals to your body. Your metabolism slows drastically, your hormones shift sharply, and your brain flags the situation as a survival threat. The result is rapid regaining of fat, particularly in the abdominal area. On the other hand, diets that allow a gradual calorie reduction minimize this biological panic. When your body senses a slow, controlled decrease in energy intake, it's less likely to activate the harsh defense mechanisms that lead to rebound. This explains why sustainable eating plans tend to produce longer-lasting results, because they work with your biology rather than against it. One crucial aspect often overlooked is the impact of nutrient quality. Diets rich in whole foods, fruits, vegetables, proteins, healthy fats, support stable hormone levels and reduce metabolic disruption. Meanwhile, diets heavy in processed foods or extremely low in essential nutrients create internal chaos. Your body becomes confused, stressed, and more likely to store fat once the diet ends. Later in this video, I'll reveal the exact dietary pattern that science considers the most effective for preventing rebound fat. But before that, we need to examine the biggest mistake even experienced dieters make right after losing weight. Here's where most people stumble. Once they hit their goal weight, they immediately go back to eating the way they did before the diet. It feels natural. You've earned the freedom, right? But your body is still in a vulnerable state. Your metabolism hasn't recovered. Your hormones are still fluctuating, and your brain hasn't updated its weight set point. This is the moment when belly fat rebounds fastest. The irony is that people often think they're eating normally, but their body is processing that food very differently than before the diet. Even small increases in calories can lead to fat storage because the body is still in recovery mode. It's like walking on thin ice. One wrong step can create a chain reaction. Another common mistake is stopping exercise too soon. Many people increase physical activity during weight loss, but loosen up once they reach the finish line. This creates a second problem, the loss of muscle mass, which further slows metabolism and amplifies the risk of rebound fat. Without realizing it, they create the perfect conditions for belly fat to return. In the upcoming sections, you'll discover how to navigate this post-diet phase safely and prevent these common pitfalls. But first, we need to examine a deeper battle happening inside your body, one between muscle and hunger. After dieting, your body enters a unique conflict between preserving muscle and satisfying hunger. Because you've consumed fewer calories, your body tries to conserve energy by reducing muscle mass, which burns more calories at rest. The problem is that losing muscle directly lowers your metabolic rate. This metabolic drop increases the chance of regaining belly fat, even if you're careful. At the same time, hormones surge. Ghrelin rises and leptin drops, making your appetite stronger and your sense of fullness weaker. Your brain becomes hyper-aware of food cues, smells, visuals, cravings you hadn't felt in years. This creates an internal tug-of-war. Your body wants to store fat, but your muscles need energy and maintenance. This conflict intensifies if you don't consume enough protein or if you stop strength training. Without consistent muscle stimulation, your body prioritizes fat storage over muscle retention. That's why people often say they regained weight, but it looks different, usually softer, with more belly fat than before. But here's the encouraging part. This battle can be won. Specific nutritional strategies and training habits can shift the balance toward maintaining muscle and controlling hunger. And as you're about to discover, your fat cells themselves also play a huge role in this story. Most people don't know this, but fat cells don't disappear when you lose weight. They shrink.
The number of fat cells you have is remarkably stable throughout adulthood. After dieting, these shrunken fat cells behave like tiny, empty storage units, waiting to be refilled. They release chemical signals that increase hunger and decrease energy expenditure. They're literally sending messages to your brain saying, "Fill me back up." And here's the surprising twist. Fat cells that have been emptied once become more efficient at storing fat again in the future. They act like sponges that absorb calories more quickly. That's one reason belly fat comes back faster than expected. The cells in the abdominal region are particularly responsive to insulin and cortisol, creating a perfect environment for rapid refill. Some studies show that fat cells can even divide during periods of extreme weight gain, increasing the total number of cells you have. Once that number increases, it becomes nearly impossible to reduce it again. This is why regaining weight after dieting can be even harder to lose the second time. But your fat cells are not your enemy. They're simply doing their job. And in the next block, you'll see how to manage their behavior, prevent the slow rebound effect, and break the cycle once and for all. One of the most confusing experiences after losing belly fat is watching it return months later, even when you think you're doing everything right. This isn't random. It's the result of slow biological processes still adjusting after the diet. Your metabolism remains suppressed for a long time, and your hormones continue shifting beneath the surface. That's why the rebound doesn't strike immediately, it sneaks up on you when you least expect it.
This delayed reaction is known as metabolic drift, a subtle shift where your metabolism burns fewer calories than anticipated, even at rest. As a result, foods that were once harmless begin to accumulate as fat. And since the belly area responds quickly to insulin and cortisol changes, it often becomes the first place to reflect this unexpected gain. But the most important part is that this delayed effect can be reversed. Your metabolism can be trained back to balance through strategic calorie increases, strength training, and stable eating rhythms. Once your body senses consistency instead of stress, its tendency to refill fat, especially abdominal fat, begins to fade. Ultra-processed foods become significantly more dangerous after dieting because your appetite hormones are already elevated. These foods are engineered to trigger strong dopamine responses, making them nearly irresistible when your body is still recovering. Just one bite can reignite cravings you thought were gone, pushing you into a cycle of overeating without realizing it. Beyond cravings, these foods disrupt your insulin response and cause quick rises and falls in blood sugar. This instability increases hunger and encourages fat storage in the abdominal area, where fat cells are more reactive. The additives and artificial fats in ultra-processed foods also create inflammation, making it easier for your body to store fat and harder for it to burn it. Your gut microbiome also plays a role. After dieting, microbial diversity is reduced, meaning your digestive system becomes more sensitive to poor quality foods. Ultra-processed items can disrupt this microbiome even further, altering appetite regulation and fat storage signals. Avoiding this trap isn't about restriction, it's about protecting your biologically vulnerable state. Science shows that preventing rebound fat isn't about cutting calories further, but about restoring metabolism gradually. This is where reverse dieting comes in, slowly increasing calorie intake over weeks or months so your metabolism rises instead of staying suppressed. It's like teaching your body that food is safe again, instead of triggering survival mode. During this restoration phase, protein becomes essential. It preserves muscle mass, increases thermogenesis, and supports satiety. Strength training adds another layer of protection by signaling your body to prioritize muscle retention instead of fat storage. Together, these two elements create a metabolic environment where rebound fat has a much harder time returning. Hormonal stability is the final piece. Consistent meal timing, balanced plates, quality sleep, and low stress support leptin, ghrelin, and insulin,
the hormones that determine whether your body stores or burns fat. This hormonal harmony is the foundation for escaping the rebound cycle permanently. Your body doesn't maintain weight through willpower, it maintains it through repeated behaviors. To lock in a new weight, you must give your body months of consistent routines, stable eating patterns, regular workouts, and predictable sleep cycles. These repeated actions slowly retrain your brain and adjust your set point.
The danger is stopping too early. Many people relax their habits right after reaching their goal, but this is when the body is most fragile. Your hormones, metabolism, and neural patterns need time to stabilize. When you maintain routines long enough, hunger normalizes, energy improves, and your body stops fighting to return to your old weight. This transition is where true change happens. Avoid sudden shifts, like jumping from a strict diet into old eating habits, because they confuse your physiology. Slow, steady consistency builds metabolic trust, teaching your body that the new weight is safe. That's when maintenance becomes natural instead of a struggle. If you're fascinated by how the body defends itself and how deeply metabolism adapts, you'll love this video. How long could you fast before triggering autophagy? Science explained. It dives into the cellular repair processes that activate during energy shortage, and it connects perfectly to everything we're discussing here. Here's the core truth. Belly fat returns because your body interprets dieting as a threat. It lowers metabolism, increases hunger, alters hormones, and prepares for future scarcity. The only way to stop this is to shift from fighting your biology to working with it. And that means supporting your body during the post-diet phase, not abandoning it. Preventing belly fat from returning requires intentional, science-backed strategies, gradually increasing calories, protecting muscle with strength training, prioritizing protein, avoiding ultra-processed foods, managing stress, and maintaining consistent habits. When you do this long enough, your brain updates your weight set point, making long-term maintenance realistic. Your body adapts to patterns, not short bursts of effort. When you provide stability, predictability, and nourishment, your physiology relaxes. And once that happens, the rebound cycle is broken permanently. Now, tell me in the comments, which insight helped you understand your body the most? If this video helped you understand your body better, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this content. Your support helps this channel grow and brings more science-based health videos to people who need them.